What is going on, guys? Manga12 here, and we are back with Ultimate Spider-Man issue 24. But before we jump into this issue, I just want to thank you so much for the 20,000 subscribers. It literally means the world to me right now, and I appreciate it so much, every single one of you. And I just love doing these comic reviews for you guys and playing Spider-Man games and all the other crazy stuff that's going to be on my YouTube channel in the future. But I seriously cannot thank you enough. I literally cannot put it into words, but just know that I appreciate it so much. But yeah, so I just wanted to say that, guys, before we jump into this issue. But yeah, so moving on into the review, we did see in the end of the previous issue that Peter saw something out of the ordinary. He said, "Get out of town," no way, and he couldn't believe his eyes. But that character that's appearing in front of him is going to be revealed right now, so let's jump into it. Alright, so when the issue picks up, we get a little bit of a throwback to what happened in the previous issue, just where it ended. Peter sees that warping window again, or whatever is happening, and it's actually an invisibility cloak, and it is the one and the only Nick Fury. So yes, you guys are right, and as you can see on screen, Peter is just going out of his mind. He knows who Nick Fury is, of course he does. He knows that he's the agent of S.H.I.E.L.D. Well, he knows that he's the head of S.H.I.E.L.D., sorry, and he knows what he's involved in. But what Peter asks is, why does he want to talk to Peter? I mean, Peter's just a high school kid. He just runs around in like skin-tight clothing, saving people. Why would Nick Fury possibly want to speak to Peter? And first off, Peter asks why Nick Fury, or how does he know that he's Spider-Man? And it's actually from a bunch of things. Now, do you remember a few issues ago when I said that Peter isn't that careful with his secret identity in the Ultimate Universe? Well, throughout the entire Ultimate Spider-Man comic series, quite a lot of people find out who Peter Parker is. They find out that he's Spider-Man. And I'm going to name a couple right now. We've got Mary Jane. Actually, I don't want to ruin it, but yeah. We've got Mary Jane and a few other major characters learn his identity as well. I nearly spoiled it for you guys then, but I thought again, and I was like, no. You'll probably find out anyway when we review those issues, so I'll let the surprise come around when we actually review them. But as you can see, Nick Fury is talking about how he was involved with Oscorp, and they were originally developing the Oz formula for S.H.I.E.L.D. for a super soldier serum, similar to what Captain America has, like how he became Captain America. But eventually Nick Fury cut the ties between Oscorp and S.H.I.E.L.D., and now pretty much Norman Osborn is a little bit crazy over it. He hates Nick Fury, and one of the tricky situations that S.H.I.E.L.D. is in right now with Norman Osborn is that they know that Norman Osborn is the Green Goblin, they know that he killed his wife, Harry's mother, and they know that he's just gone full-blown mental, but they can't do anything because technically they aren't supposed to be there. S.H.I.E.L.D. isn't allowed to be spying on Norman Osborn. It's actually against the law. So they aren't actually supposed to know this. So they've got to pretend like they didn't know this. And what's actually happened is they overheard Norman Osborn threatening Peter Parker. And that is why Nick Fury is speaking to Peter right now. Because technically, S.H.I.E.L.D. isn't supposed to have heard that conversation, but they did, and now they know, but they can't act on it because Norman Osborn hasn't technically done anything yet, even though they know he has. So, yeah, it's all a little bit crazy, but basically, Nick Fury has told Peter that he's pretty much on his own. If anything goes wrong, if Green Goblin does anything, then Peter is on his own. But the moment Green Goblin / Norman Osborn does anything that can make him a criminal or anything like that, like murder Peter's family, then S.H.I.E.L.D. are definitely going to be there. But the problem is that Aunt May would already be dead by the time S.H.I.E.L.D. get there, and that is why Peter doesn't trust Nick Fury. That's why he's a little on edge with it. Now, of course, Nick Fury is S.H.I.E.L.D., so we know that S.H.I.E.L.D. probably will be there on time, but Peter can't put the life of his loved ones in the hands of S.H.I.E.L.D., so it's a little bit complicated. But once again, Peter returns home to another limo outside his house, and Peter literally just has to tell his Aunt May that he thinks that Norman Osborn is a shady guy. And one of the most awesome things that I love about these comics is that even though Aunt May and Peter Parker are two different characters, Uncle Ben inspired both Aunt May and Peter Parker. Aunt May always makes decisions in life, and as you could see there, she actually quoted Uncle Ben saying, "Never met a person who's never stood on someone else to get some money," or something like that. So not only does Uncle Ben inspire Peter to, be Spider-Man, and with great power comes great responsibility, but he also inspires Aunt May to make decisions in her life as well, and I think that's just awesome to see. However, moving on throughout the comic, you can see that Spider-Man has gone for a swing around trying to clear his head, and whilst he's doing this, he sees Green Goblin waiting for him on the rooftop, and one of the most obvious things from the Ultimate Spider-Man comics is Green Goblin's huge purple cape. or Cloak. Cloak actually sounds better, but yeah, I think that's just one of the best features of Green Goblin in the Ultimate Universe. But sadly, Green Goblin actually doesn't put the purple cloak back on in the future Ultimate Spider-Man comics. He more or less just doesn't wear it hardly in the future Spider-Man comics, so that's pretty depressing, but either way, it looks awesome right now. It's a huge part of Green Goblin's origin story in the Ultimate Universe, so yeah, just remember that. But as you can see, Green Goblin is just talking about how he pretty much made Spider-Man. He owns the DNA of Peter Parker's blood and Spider-Man, and he's pretty much got to respect Goblin and do as he says, and Peter is just giving him a load of mouth saying hell to the no, and that is when Green Goblin turns around and says that he's going to teach him the sake of responsibility. Out of nowhere, Goblin dive bombs off the building towards his own son Harry Osborn, and that is when Mary Jane actually gets out of the limo and he grabs her instead and takes, well, pretty much kidnaps her. And of course, that's a pretty bad sign for Spider-Man, because not only has he only been Spider-Man for like 20 issues, but already one of his loved ones are in danger. And not only that, but it's his girlfriend Mary Jane, and remember, she actually loves Peter Parker, and Peter was actually going to tell her that he loves her too, but will he ever get to say it? Well, we'll have to wait until the next issue. But guys, what did you think of this issue? Let me know in the comments section below, and hit that like button if you love this issue as well. Venom actually comes up around issue 36 or issue 34, so we've only got about 10 issues until Venom. So yeah, keep an eye out for that. But guys, what do you think is going to happen in the next issue? Let me know in the comments below. I'm going to give this issue a 9 out of 10. I thought it was awesome just how Aunt May kind of brought up that quote from Uncle Ben. And of course, just how Peter got that awesome talk with Nick Fury. And I loved how Peter kind of insulted Nick Fury's eye, and Nick Fury just kind of lunged through him. I thought that was pretty awesome. Yeah, so guys, 9 out of 10. Go to the links in the description, follow me on Twitter and Facebook, and of course Instagram, to see what I do in my daily life. And if you want more, then hit the subscribe button, and I will see you all in my next video.